when we were talking about the team that is closest to a championship here in Houston, we agreed on the Houston Texans, and the team that is likely to be most in the way of the Houston Texans in the AFC South, Indianapolis Colts, right, Joe?
Yeah, definitely.
I think we look at the Jaguars with a bit of a side eye. I do it not necessarily because of Trevor Lawrence or Doug Peterson, more so because of Trent Baalke, their general manager. I don't know how that guy's still in the league. Jaguars should be at the very least decent, though, not a pushover. But it's all about the Colts. And it's been a very interesting offseason between the Houston Texans and the Colts because they can't keep each other's names out their mouths. First, you had Zaire Franklin and E.J. Speed talking about Stroud, complimenting him, but also saying he was talking some trash to them during that Texans-Colts game and after that Texans-Colts game. Stroud responded. We have yet to hear from Zaire Franklin and E.J. Speed a retort until now. Here is Colts linebacker E.J. Speed.
Actually match up very well versus Texans.
Okay, explain that to me. Tell me how.
I mean, I'm on the field. Let's get that clear. I'm on the field. And then, you know what I mean, we got our guys. They made some big moves in the offseason, though. I give them that.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? I got a bone to pick with the Texans, so, you know, week one I might have my
What is the bone? What is the bone to pick? Because you know you have them week one in Indy. They're coming.
Yeah, they said I didn't make any plays, so I guess I gotta put the proof in the pudding, huh?
Yeah, and C.J. Stroud likes to talk.
Yeah, that's his thing now. That's his thing. He like to pop his shit. I mean, can we say he got a right to? That's the play I didn't make right there.
On with Kay Adams, they were showing some highlights, which he is referring to right there. So he's talking a little bit of trash. I think it's respectful trash talk directed back towards C.J. Stroud by E.J. Speed there, Joe.
Yeah, it's good trash talk. Like it's building into something kind of fun.
I like
between these two teams.
The AFC South has always been remarkably boring.
Mm-hmm.
It really has. I mean, the Texans' arch rival in the AFC South, if you want it to be the Colts, it's very one-sided. The Jaguars have always been a mess, at least until the last couple of years where they finally found a quarterback again. I know that they had that one year in 2017 where they made the AFC Championship game and arguably, not for a missed fumble, they could have been in that Super Bowl, but whatever the case. Then you got the Titans, and the Titan rivalry seems to be entirely based in the fact that the Oilers left Houston and they get mad whenever teams in Houston try to do some version of light blue uniforms.
Yeah.
And there was a joke. Someone put a joke tweet out about how the Titans sent a cease and desist to the Astros for their Father's Day hats. And it actually was believable. But, I mean, that's really the extent of AFC South rivalries. There's not much there. So I'm happy that these guys are playing into it, especially considering that these days in all sports leagues, it seems like while players do have podcasts and more of a platform than ever to say what they want, they still don't say what they want. So I like it. And it wasn't done in a way which is disrespectful by Speed, and I don't think it was done by Stroud either.
No, it's just like it's fine trash talk. It's good trash talk. It is probably what the rivalry I would expect to flourish the most. You know, the Titans they're still to me very clearly at the bottom of the division, unless Will Levis is really something special and people overlooked him in the draft. I don't think they're going to take this big step. Like, they've got a bunch of names on their roster, like with like Hopkins and Ridley and Pollard. Like they have like 5 years ago best fantasy football team on planet Earth vibes is what they are for me right now.
But with a rookie quarterback
and it's 5 years later that all those guys were good. So I don't expect much from the Titans this year. I think they made a huge mistake with Vrabel. They seem very dysfunctional since the moment they traded A.J. Brown. they're a mess. Like
they need a lot to go right.
Yeah.
Is how I look at the Titans.
Yeah, and so they're just not anything now to like really build that rivalry. Jacksonville, there just doesn't seem to be that juice there. I know the
It seems to be fan-on-fan violence, like that UCF Jaguars guy who was talking his bleep after the Jaguars that were improved to 8-3 and beat the Texans when Matt Amendola missed that field goal. But yeah, I don't really get that sense from the players. But Texans Colts, because of C.J. Stroud and those Colts linebackers, Zaire Franklin and E.J. Speed, it's actually worth discussing.
And you had it, and look, everything. We always go back to this play, but the Texans, everything, all the hype, all the excitement for this season, probably shouldn't have happened because the Colts made a disastrous decision by having their third running back on the field instead of Zach Moss. When I think Jonathan Taylor, I guess he was hurt on that final series, he drops that running back drops that easy pass from Gardner Minshew, and they should have won that game. Like the Colts should have beaten the Texans in that game. So you have that, you have the trash talk. Like I think it also what it says about CJ, and you're not hearing him say anything about the Titans, anything about the Jags. And I think there's a reason for that. Like to me, like that tells me the players also view those as non-rivalries. Those are just games on your schedule that you need to win because they're in your division, but they don't really matter. Like they both sides do seem to be going out of their way to talk about each other on a pretty consistent basis.
Good. We need more of it. I mean, the only real rivalry that gets, I think, any trash talk in the NFL these days is Chiefs-Bengals. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, Bills a little bit. Yeah, the NFL's kind of boring with rivalries in general, I would say.
Yeah.
Like
we all want it to be more than it actually is.
Yeah, like outside the AFC North, basically.
AFC North, it does exist.
Because it's there's something about how available all the players are that we know that's like actually the guys on the Cowboys don't hate the guys on the Eagles, like fundamentally as people. That is what the fans are projecting onto this game, and what the highlights coming into this game are showing is actually they don't show Michael Irving almost getting paralyzed, but that's what you think of when these two teams play, and then it's like actually it's Micah Parsons who's going to be dapping up Jalen Hurts after the game.
I think the post jersey swap kind of took a lot of the stuff out of rivalries in the NFL. Like that, like because like they don't do that in the NBA, they don't do that in Major League Baseball. Thank God they don't do it in baseball. It'd be so lame. Like 162 jersey swaps a year,
and you play the same team 3 times in a row.
There's got to be one guy who does it though.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it.
There's probably been a sarcastic one. There has to have been like two brothers swapping jerseys or something.
So yeah, that's like feels like an exception to the rule. But like there's no juice in the NFL. In terms of rivalries, probably was like you said, besides Bengals, Chiefs at the moment.
That's really it, and they just—it's like, oh, he called Arrowhead Stadium Burrowhead Stadium. How dare they?
I do think if the Texans beat the Ravens this year, that there's going to be something there. Like that could be the next one as well. Like outside the division.
It was so one-sided the first two.
That's why I think if the Texans win this year,
or
it bounces out.
Or if they win the playoffs, or so. If the Texans knock out Baltimore in the playoffs, then we might be cooking with something.
Baltimore looks down on you. They've beaten you in the playoffs twice in their history. I feel like the Ravens have a table at the club, and the Texans are still trying to get into it.
For sure, yeah. Like the Texans
they tried paying $20 and it didn't work.
Yeah. The Texans have work to do to be into this conversation with other teams.
That's where them being in the AFC South is like perfect because it's like, oh, the Jags also haven't won any. Like it's like the kids table for the NFL.